What did you say? Hi, Abe.
Hello. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Hi. We're on hay.
Overall.
How can you say that Rabbi Yehuda Darshan's Ribu and Mute? We have other places where he uses Klalo Prat. So the Gemara says, yeah, in Baalma Klale Prati Darsh. Normally, Rebbe Darshan's Klalo Prat. But there is a specific reason here why he did. Hachaynu Taima, Kedetana Rabbi Shmuel, the Tana of Rabbi Shmuel. But it says by kosher fish. It says Bamayim Shnei Pa'amim. It says Ezet Tochlu Mikol Asher Bamayim. These shall you eat in the water. Kol Asher Los Napiret Kezes Bamayim. If they have fins and scales in the water. And then later on it says by Amimu Van Chalim. So
Where are we?
We are on Hey Omen Aleph.
Okay.
Ein Ze Klalu Prat, because normally you got to have the generality, the detail, and the generality to follow. But here it didn't follow that. The Prat doesn't occur until after the two Klalim. Rather, Ela Riba Umiyat. The same thing by Pidyon Ben. It says Ufduyav Tifte Kesef Chamesh Shkolim. So the two klalois are mentioned first, then the Prat. So in those situations, you don't use Klalu Prat methodology, you use Ribui Umiut methodology. V'Rabbanon, what do they say? Ravina Kedamri B'Marova. We don't stand on ceremony in the pasuk just because the detail's not mentioned between the klal. Even if you have two close next to each other, hatelas aprat beineim v'dunam beklalu prat. Take the prat, even though it appears afterwards, and put it in between, and use the format of klalu prat to klal. Hashadam at Rebbe klalu prati darsh. Now you've told me, Rebbe in general darshan's klalu prat. Ba'korcha kasha shvuos. So then you have a problem regarding how he held regarding oaths. He's holding in our mission not like a shita, rather like Rabbi Akiva, the darshan's ribu umir. Rather, Ella shvuos nazav aliba Rabbi Akiva. Shvuos he holds like Rabbi Akiva, v'leilos fairly. He himself doesn't darshan like that. Gufa. Minayin sheno chayiv. You don't bring a korban oilavi or a sliding scale korban. Ella al sheyesh bo yediyah b'tchilav yediyah b'sof elam ben time. You know that you were tamei, you forgot, and you walked into the base of Mikdash, and then you remembered again. Talmud loymar v'nelam shnei pa'amim. De Rabbi Kiva. Rabbi Omer and Tzarech, we don't need this drasha. Reyu Omer, it says, Oki ga b'chol tumas adam. V'ne'elam imenu v'yadav Hashem. V'ne'elam imenu. Nichlal mashma. The fact that it says you forgot must be yada. In the beginning, he knew. V'hu yada rekan shtei yadiyos. And when the pasuk says who yada, means there's two knowledges. In kain matam adlomer v'ne'elam. Why ne'elam twice? because l'chayv al tuma, you may have forgotten that you were tamei, or al helam mikdash, you forgot that this place was the base of mikdash. Amar ma. V'nelam means bichlal sheyoda. By saying I forgot, you can't forget it unless you knew it in the first place. So my mashma, how do we Amar Rava? Look, sivihi aluma mimenu. It doesn't say it was removed from him. He doesn't know at all about its existence. It just says now he forgot about it. That's the way you're learning. What about Gabi Sota, the unfaithful wife? Dichsiv, v'shochav ish osa, a man slept with her, v'ne'ela meinei isha, and the husband didn't know about it. Michlal daviyada. What do you mean? He knew about it that they were having an affair before. That would never work, because a husband has to divorce his wife immediately if he finds out that she was unfaithful. Right? Vatanya, v'nika ish me'avon va'isha yitisas avona. What is this? When the husband is clear of sin, the water is effective at checking the wife. Now, if this man knew that his wife was mezaneh, she becomes usher, and he didn't divorce her, he's not naki me'avo. That's number one. V'su gabi Torah, it says in EU by the Torah, to see, v'ne'elma meinei kol chai me'ofet shemai nisra. No creature knew the Torah. Michlal, what? The ikad haviyadabe, that they forgot it initially, they knew it. V'aksiv lo yada enosh erka v'lo timtzai b'tzai, doesn't know by anybody. So your pshat about hello? Elamer by Ksover Rebbe, Yedias based Rabo Shmaidia. You know, if you learned it in school at some point, even when you were young, when you were in your Rebbe's house, that's already considered that you knew. If you forgot about it, but you knew about it at one point, that's Shma Yediah. That's enough. And that's when it says V'nelam, it's enough that you were taught it once, that it makes sense to use the word V'nelam. What about the case where it said in our Mishnah, Ein b'yadiyah b'tchila, you had no knowledge initially. V'yesh b'yadiyah b'sof. Miyikad l'esli yadiyah b'es rabbo. Everybody went to school. Everyone went to cheder. They got to know something initially. What do you mean? An infant was taken prisoner by pirates and taken to a different country. Never went to Jewish school. Such a person has no yediyah in the beginning. Period. Then it says in our Mishnah, Yitzia Shabbos Stein Shein Arba. Hotzah from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaRabim there are two examples which are really four. It's not awesome. It says Masechta Shabbos. Yitzia Shabbos Stein Shein Arba Bifnim. It means when a person is on the inside. Ushtaim Shein Arba B'chutz, when he's on the outside. Ma'ishna Hacha the Tana Shtaim Shein Arba V'sulo. Our Mishnah didn't say this thing. Why over there in Masechta Shabbos did we go into more detail? There are the major halachos of Shabbos. Tani, voice, vitoldas. We learned the primary malachas, the ones that were written in the Torah, which is going from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaRabim. For example, a person stands Rishus HaYachid and hands something to somebody in Rishus HaRabim. But then there's toldos, which are not written in the Torah, which is hachnosa, going from Rishus HaRabim to Rishus HaYachid. They're both aser, but one is considered the av because it's mentioned in the Torah. One's considered the tolda because it's not. Here in Masechta Shavuos Hacha, the lav ikar Shabbosu, this is not the primary source of the halachas of Shabbos. Avos Tani, it only talked about hotzah, going from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaRabim. The toldas lo Tani. So Avos my niu. So what's the av Yitzias? Going from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaRabim. So Yitzias Tarti Havya. There are two ways of transferring something. Somebody from the inside could hand somebody something to somebody standing on the outside. Something standing on the outside can pull something from the inside to the outside. So why did our Mishnah say that there are arba? Because there are examples, for example, where it might not be chayiv. Let's say he didn't do a full akira from the Rishus HaYachid and a Hanach and Rishus HaRabbi. Our Mishnah compared the Yetzias HaShabbos to a coin looking at the Goyim, which also says Shnaim Shehem Arba Ktani, Ma'asam Kul L'Chiyuv. There, all four are L'Chiyuv. Avhacha Kul L'Chiyuv. Here also, all four should be Chayiv, not some Chayiv and some Potter. El Amar of Papa, Hasam Iker Shabbos, in Masechta Shabbos, where we're learning all the halachas of Shabbos, Tani Chiyuv Upturi. They deal with all of it, the Chiyuvim and the Pturim. Hacha Chiyuvi Tani, Pturi lo Tani. It only mentions the Chiyuvim, not the Pturim. Chiyuvim I knew, you'd see us. So what are the Chiyuvim taking out from Rishus HaYachid, Rishus HaRabbi? But you'd see us Tarti Hudavin. It's not two that are four, it's just two. So Lishtayim the Hotzah, Lishtayim the Achnasa. The two that are four means going from Rishus HaYachid to the Rishus HaRabbi. There's two ways of doing that. The person on the inside handing it to somebody outside, or the somebody outside pulling something from inside to himself. Achnasa is now bringing things from the outside into the inside. That also could be done either by a person standing outside or a person standing inside. But the Gemara says, how can you tell me that our Mishnah is referring to Hotzah and Achnasa? Ha-Yitzias Ktani. The Mishnah only uses the word of Yitzia, which means going out from Rishus HaYachid, Rishus HaRabbi. Ravashi, Tanachnasi Nama Hotzah Kari. The Malach of Hotzah includes Achnasa. The word Yitzia refers not just going from Rishus HaYachid, Rishus HaRabbi, but vice versa. Now, Limai, how do you know this? It's not. Hamotzi Mirshus L'Rishus. Chai. It just doesn't say Mirshus HaYachid, Rishus HaRabbi. It says you transfer from one Rishus to the other. Milo Askina de Kumai Li Lule. This is even with Achnasa, where you're going from Rishus HaRabbi to Rishus HaYachid. Veka Kari Le Hotzah, and yet it's called Hotzah. The Gemara says, V'dilma Kol Mafik. Maybe it means Hotzah only Rishus HaYachid, Rishus HaRabbi. Im Kein Nisni Hamotzi Rishus HaYachid, Rishus HaRabbi. It shouldn't have just said Hamotzi Rishus L'Rishus. It should have said carefully, going only from Rishus HaYachid, Rishus HaRabbi. My Rishus L'Rishus, Afilu Rishus HaRabbi, Rishus HaYachid. V'ka Kari Lo Hotzah. Time of my. Tana Kol Akiras Chovitz Bimkoma Hotzah Kari. Any movement of an item from its place, it's called Hotzah. Okay. Amar Ravina Masnisa Namideka. We can prove it from the language of the Mishnah. Diktoni. This is Masechta Shabbos. Yitzias Shabbos Shtayin Shein Arba Bifnim. There are two that are four, referring to somebody inside. Ushtaim Shein Arba B'chutz. Two that are four for the person standing outside. And later on in that Gemara become a farish, Achnasa, not just Yitzia, but includes the various permutations of Achnasa. Shema Mina, that the word Yitzia refers to Achnasa as well. Rava Amar, he gives a whole different explanation of our Mishnah. Rishuya is Ktani. We're dealing with two different domains. Rishuya Shabbos Shtayim. There are two domains relevant on Shabbos. Rishus HaRabbi, Rishus HaYachid. There are Arba Chiyuvim. Two of them Hotzah, by a person standing on the inside, handing something out, or something standing on the outside and pulling something out. And Shnaim Shalach Nasa, person standing in and schlepping something in from the outside, or a person handing something from the outside into the inside. Then our Mishnah said, Maris Nagoim, Shnaim Shein Arba. Maris Nagoim, two that are four. So Maris Nagoim, Shnaim Shein Arba, What are they? Baheres is Azza, is white like snow, kashelek. Now the next down in the hierarchy, Shniala, is Kesida Hechel. It's like the plaster that was done in the base of Migdash was not completely white. Se'es is Katsemer Lovan. It's like white wool. And lower than that, Shniala Kikrum Beitza, like the white of an egg. Amrav Charina, Mantana, Maris Nagoin. Who is the Tana that breaks this up into two groups with an Avna Tolda? Is Lok Rabbi Kiva. The Ikra Rabbi Kiva, Kivan Sha'amar. See, right now we learned you have Baheres and Sid, so that's an Avna Tolda. And then you have Se'es and Kruma Beitza, that's also an Avna Tolda. But Rabbi Kiva doesn't learn that way. He learns Kivan Shomer Zulam Al Mizu, Zulam Al Mizu. It's like one long continuum from Baheres to Sid to Se'es to Kruma Beitza. Now, they can only be mitzaref if you didn't have the right size, if they're next to each other in that descending list of four. Im Kain, Tiharta Sira Echel Militzaref, the second one, the Sira Echel, is not going to be mitzaref to the fourth. Bahadi man litzrafi. Litzrafi Bahadi has to only go together with Baheres. But regarding Rabbi Kiva, Ika Se'es Dadifa Minei. Se'es would be more bright because he puts Se'es in between Baheres. So and they only can be mitzaref if they're next to each other. Litzrafi Bahadi Se'es. Then, if you combine it with the one that's right above it, that Lav Tolda Dideyu, but our Mishnah doesn't learn it as an Avin and Tolda, so you would not be able to mitzaref. So it's clear that that brisa we just quoted is not like Rabbi Kiva. If that's how Rabbi Kiva learns, that only Nagoyim that are next to each other can be mitzaref. So Rav Chanina could have proved Mikrum Beitza Nami, Badi Man Litzrafi. That means Krum Beitza also could have thrown that in as who's going to be mitzaref with this. Litzrafi Badei. We could have done with Se'es. Ika Sid Shadif Minei, but then there's Sid which is stronger than that. Litzrafi Bahadei, Sid Lav Bar Kaminehu. But you couldn't put Sid in there because it's not Avin told of it. Because according to our brisa, there are two different categories. So Haimai, the Gemara is going to ask, how do we pass it? Okay, so we're going to learn tomorrow. Tonight we're going to learn 8 o'clock the Surba. Tomorrow we'll learn the Gemara at 7 o'clock. We'll see you.
Okay,
All right.
see you soon.